And recording.
All right, we're live. Welcome to the Highway Hills Management Committee meeting as of August 10th. We have 4 members of the Management Committee. Rex Everly is excused tonight. I'm going to dive right in. We have an invited guest, Mr. Ken Yost, who's the chairman of the Planning Committee.
Good evening. In 2019, Long Range Planning did a workshop on well and septic Hideaway Hills. And it was very well received, and we wanted to do one on invasive species last year, but pandemic prevented that. So I presided you with a draft flyer that we want to try to start sending out to members about the invasive species in Hideaway Hills. By chance, we started with Japanese stiltgrass, but I saw on your last meeting you had a discussion about which has also been a topic, and see that they mark all over the hills. So we wanted to start sending these out roughly once a month, talk about different species, lanthus trees, garlic mustard, autumn olive, invasive honeysuckles, and also talk a little bit about good forest management practices, about harvesting trees and planting trees and protecting trees. So you have a draft of what I sent out, whether it goes out Facebook, Echo, or is really up to this group's decision. Do you have any questions about what I proposed? Did you get a copy of it?
I've seen it. We've seen it, yeah. Typically, what we do is send it out each blast, post it on Facebook. Both. Yeah. What's the problem with that?
That would be fine.
Are you guys planning on trying to have a seminar this fall on invasive species, or?
No, that may happen next spring. We have a person that's already been down Hideaway and looked over what we have. He's prepared to do a workshop in this very room for the members so they can have some question and answer sessions on the different invasive species and how to treat them. So we're not talking about killing invasive trees at this time. We're just starting that conversation.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
No. Can we do it in the Echo? I'm not on Facebook. The only thing I can think of that may be a little off written Echo, because it's black and white, whereas some of the pictures were color.
Right.
Is that going to be something that, I mean, we can do it electronically in color.
Right. No, I think Echo would be fine. I mean, it's not going to take away from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was well written.
Well, and again, it was a draft, so any changes, you're welcome to change it.
What I brought up at the last meeting was we just want to make sure we don't leave ourselves with too much bare ground, which is going to add to our erosion problem. So I think secondary to that is then let's come up with a uniform, easily grown sun and shade cover crop that we can also help with that.
Right. And
because if we don't, weed species are going to come back if we don't.
I've seen places you're talking about where a whole hillside is full of ailanthus trees, and we can't just kill all those trees and not put something
The roots
back.
are gone, and
Right.
the dirt's gone.
Right. So it's going to be a big job, but it's going to take some time to implement.
Time to start.
So, yeah, I don't see a problem running it. When do you want to target starting it?
Probably next month, the next Echo.
Right.
That's a great idea.
I'll be submitting one for your review and submittal every month for the next 4 or 5 months. See how this goes. I'm reaching out to Jim Dameron, who's kind of our resident expert here. While stiltgrass is low on the list of Ohio threats, it's rather high on the list for Hideaway because most of it is in southeast Ohio. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, just bring it to your attention, is the recreation proposal. Last year, the board established an ad hoc key initiatives. Recreation was one of those. I still have work to do to talk with social committee, fund, food, and fellowship committee, put this into place, but I wanted to give you an idea of what we're looking at initially. Try to get something done yet this year. A chance to review
I
that.
have reviewed it.
I haven't seen it.
I saw it.
It just came out. It just got sent out today.
I emailed it this morning.
I'm sorry.
I
should've
think it's
done
good
it.
to establish it. I mean, it kind of falls along your state parks and they always have things for the kids to do. We've got, safe, reliable playground equipment. Something for the teenagers and who knows, us old guys might pitch horseshoes one of these days. Can't go home.
So I'm just submitting it for your consideration. There's more work to do on it. We're going to be working with the initiatives group and the other things to see what their ideas.
Gotcha. Have you prioritized any of the top recreational stuff? I mean, like, I think horseshoes would be great. Play more at the clubhouse, but then again, houses around. I think it was put down there. Let's be away from houses.
Yeah, I don't know that horseshoes is that necessarily noisy of an activity, but
It's just something to think
it
about.
seems like a convenient place to put it, and we've had strong support for placing it.
I think having horseshoe pits, volleyball stuff. Just have to prioritize which ones. Activities for youth, take on a couple of these. Social committee, maybe. These two.
Right.
I know they've set volleyball up down there.
Well, I've measured it out. It can accommodate. Whole volleyball court is 60 by 30. There's space out there for it. Just barely.
Where else would you put volleyball, like North Park or?
We could do volleyball park at the North Park. We could do, I've even tried to set it up at the shelter house down front, but it's not a very level area to play. That may take some grading to make that. We're just talking about recreational play. We're not talking about
Yeah,
championship
tournaments.
play.
Yeah, we're not. Olympics to be played here. I think a great idea is, some of the things will have to be worked out, like if you had Jenga here, how would you find those out and get those back? Who would
Right,
manage
right.
that?
Well, I talked briefly to Jeff about it, and key was not to create a lot of additional work for the staff.
All right, any other questions for Ken about these opportunities?
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Ken,
Ken, thank
Ken.
you. Appreciate it.
Linda, are you able to hear us okay?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Let's dive right into our capital appreciation dam allocation numbers. Dam allocation's going.
That it is. Capital fund total is currently at 291,975. That is still minus the 101,000 and some change that is sitting in the account we had to have open to keep the interest rate low on the dam account. The bank is supposed to be sending us a certified check for that, and then it'll go back into capital fund to repay. So really, in the end, just shy of 400,000 in the capital fund total once that is put back in. And then depreciation fund total is at 351,720.
So they don't just electronically transfer the money?
No, apparently they want to do a cashier's check. It's small town banking. Cashier's check and send it to us. And we will,
Seems they should
Hoof
be
it over-
incurring
hoof
some
it over.
late charges that surely be charged us.
and then hoof it over to the other small town bank and deposit it.
Back in the 70s here. All right, any questions on capital fund or depreciation fund?
See the numbers in the black going the right way?
Spending.
Well, isn't that how that goes, right?
All right, Jeff, you want to talk about need for a new debris mower and the quotations.
I would love debris blower. You even made me spell it right. Got 3 quotes in front of you for turbine debris blowers between 24 and 27 horsepower engines. First one, or the one that I've got on top at least, is Baker Vehicle Systems, which is the price that beats the rest of them, $8,406.56. For reference, we had this in the depreciation fund, or excuse me, the equipment list for the depreciation fund at 8,000. The next one is Century Equipment, and that is at $9,514.20. Different brand that I actually have not heard of, which is ProForce, versus Buffalo, which is a pretty large brand for the very first one. And then Granger supplying that same ProForce for $14,450.07. So we're all loser. We're currently operating on a 15-plus-year-old vacuum that maintenance tweaked to be a blower about that same time ago. For everything from golf course debris to roadside debris, they're used quite a bit on golf courses throughout the country. Anytime you aerify, you've got plugs, that kind of thing, they need to be used. And it's getting to the point where we're having to replace part after part on it. It's time placed. It was on the equipment list for this year, or is on the equipment list for this year. It's been for a couple of years, so we knew it was coming. So we're just looking for approval to spend $8,406.56 to get one.
So that's inclusive of freight?
Yeah. It's actually comes from Baker Vehicle, which is very close to us.
No, it's in Macedonia.
Macedonia, is that not close?
That's up by Cleveland.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Is it a delivered price or?
Yeah, that's the delivered price.
Says delivered.
So what was the consideration for not going with PTO unit?
We have not been able to get any pricing on a PTO unit, and Rick said that would be better so that we don't always have to pull it behind a PTO tractor to have something that's actually got its own jockey engine on it. That let it do the work.
Well, if they'd gone with the PTO, I probably would have suggested that. I just wondered where the thinking was and if we had a quote on one, and if there was a huge difference, which I wouldn't.
No, nobody came through with the PTO unit. That's originally what we asked for. This is what they came through with.
UTV or anything that way.
Yeah. And currently, at least with Baker, they've got 2 units in stock. Everybody else, we'd be waiting a bit.
I'd like to make a motion to purchase.
From the Baker.
I concur. Second.
No objection from Marty. It's like we're buying a mower. This is under our limit, so we can.
Blower.
Lower.
No mower.
Blower.
Mowers next.
Debris, not debris.
Blower. Blower.
More blower.
Buying a blower.
Yeah.
Or were you scrapping the old one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he may try and convert it back to a vacuum, but I doubt it.
I know, I love Rick for his sourcefulness, but sometimes he keeps things fast. Like,
True story.
But Marty talked, if it's something we could help, open the ditches, or he can tweak it into something that he sees need for. Yeah, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't let him have a winter project to look at something like that.
as long as we don't put a bunch of money.
Well, yeah, that's the whole idea.
It's like the old Ford 30 sleep for years. But we told him when we replaced it, a major goes out, it's all right. We bought one fairway mower this year. We ordered it in January. We'll probably have it in December. Probably really help the golf course out in December, but such as ordering stuff right now. We had another fairway mower on the depreciation budget for next year. So the idea is if we could order it now, approve, we could get it on order, have it for next year instead of waiting waiting until January and then have, waiting another 12 months to get it.
And
Talk a
the whole
little bit about the quote.
the whole supply chain issue has gotten quite a bit worse than it was even back in January, February of this year. Honda has just put out I guess for mowers, blowers, ATVs, UTVs, fairway mowers, and that kind of thing, a 1 year delay on any engine. So they're saying everything's going to be back ordered for 1 year. So ordering now would do is provide us the ability to get it hopefully before growing season next year. And certainly before the end of the year next year, because they will utilize whatever they've got in stock and then just wait on the few extra parts and pieces to get it all together. Guarantee that we wouldn't get it before February, which is why we're talking about a 2022 unit now. And also the pricing is, when we looked at the beginning of this year, we were in 60 some odd thousand for a John Deere, and Jacobson came in at say 38,000 for essentially the same unit, different brand, same accessories. So it turns out I was notified last night that they had actually forgotten to price all of the accessories into it, but being that they're a company that's going to operate with some integrity, not only are they honoring that price that they gave us for the one that we ordered, but they're also saying, okay, we're going to go up only 6% on this one because we don't want it to be apples and oranges. So they're not charging us for the accessories on this one. Challenge is we've got 15 days to make a call and sign the agreement and get it back to them.
Why it's 6% increase?
Just parts and pieces to put it together. That was an increase that went into place, is going into place this January, but we won't receive it till after January.
So they want the same price?
No,
We couldn't just change the
No.
quantity to two?
nope. This is what they're willing to do, and the worst case they could, as an example, with Granger first sent us a price of $1,800 for the blower. I tried to get that pushed through, and they
You don't buy much from Granger because
exactly, and they said, "Oh, wait a minute, it's 14,000. It's not 1,800." So this company's willing to honor the deal with a slight price increase and still essentially not charge us for any of the accessories on it.
I will say that's $5,000 less than what we're getting prior to a vendor pricing. We were looking at 68 to 72 before.
right, I know.
Any cash outlay?
Not before it gets here, no.
No down payment.
No. Same deal on that as before. There's a net 15-day.
So worst case scenario, we could always cancel.
Correct. I guarantee you there will be somebody else waiting for it.
I think it's my choice.
Make a motion to purchase. The
Make a motion
maker.
to take this to the board.
Oh, that's right, yeah. The price, yes. Motion taken. Approval. Is the
And I'm
salesman
guessing
really-
Ms. President's gonna push that through pretty quick on our 15-day clock. Or they'll meet next week. You should be good.
Correct.
I'll take
Correct.
it Tuesday
Here we go
night.
again with the month.
I'll
I
take
lost
it.
all of July, now you're messed up in August too.
I'll take it to the board on Tuesday.
Super.
Next Tuesday.
Salesperson really named Junker?
Yes, I forget his first name. Chris Junker, I think so it is.
Grant.
Brand Junker. Oh,
Is
I
it?
see, I see it, yeah. I thought it was just something put up there, but it is actually, no offense. No offense.
All right, we
If
got a
you're
motion on the
listening.
table.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Margie second.
Yeah.
Good. All right, we'll take this to the board and hopefully have a mower.
Okay,
Two
and
more,
since
two
oh,
more.
Two mowers next. Well, we'll have one of them in December.
Okay.
For,
Hold your breath.
since I'll be gone beyond that 15-day limit, I'll sign the quote and give it to you, and then you can just send it to him or give it to Penny to send to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, assuming the board approves, we'll get that sent in. Yeah, we'll let Elmer take the new one.
And I will work on, this came up quickly, I will work on trying to get a minimum of a John Deere quote, if not a John Deere and a Toro quote, but those were, again, even with the vendor pricing and the 10 to 12% off, we're crossing the $60,000 mark. So I think this is still the way to go.
Okay. All right. Discussion items. RFID gate project progress. So last meeting, we approved to take to the board the RFID gate process. I will introduce that on the packet at next Tuesday's meeting. Fairness to the board, we'll probably not vote till September. Biggest thing I want to make sure they have is all the questions answered. Some of the questions we need help with, JJ can kind of.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, just the implementation. There's a lot of different ways we can do it. You know, we have the old back gate, garage door openers / transponders, you know, that we credit, you know, reimburse. There's a bunch of different ways we can look at that. I mean, there is going to be a cost to the new transponders, but I think we have to have an idea as to how we want to implement the new transponders. Can't just put them in the mail, send them out, destroy them very, very easily. And I think we really have to keep a close look at how they are applied to the vehicles and such. So there's a lot of questions that we got to deal with, but I'll just start putting together some questions, send it out to everybody, and from there and go on.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're gonna have to do, come up with an implementation Q&A. They're what, $6.80 something, $7 a piece,
$5 a piece
$5
plus tax.
plus tax.
Yeah.
Piece. Trade those for a transponder. How do we put those in? I mean, ideally, we go to security or a checkpoint, pay your membership card, pay your money, you get put it in the window for them, or we want to send them out or hand them out.
Can't really send them.
No, or hand them out. I definitely think people need to show their vehicle form and their and or membership card, get them. I won't control this, but one of the biggest questions in my mind is what's that interim period look like when they're changing the gates over? So suddenly we got RFID gates, nobody can get out the back gates till we get RFID things. How do can we get those out beforehand?
That's where we need to look at the construction plan. How long
Right.
does it take to do it?
Right.
Right.
I assume they're gonna do, go gate by gate.
Correct.
Right, but does it take a day to do a gate?
That's a question. We don't have.
Well, I think when we move forward, I think we have to sit down with Signature again. Put some of these questions out as to how they may have implemented other agencies. They have some of the answers, questions we have.
'Cause I know we're gonna get questions like, well, I'll be able to get out the gates, back
Right.
gates. I mean, I didn't realize how the Hideaway Hills Road was paved. I just don't go out the front gate, so back gates. But well, if they do the Bremen gate, will everyone have an opportunity to get by the gate before it happens?
Transfer.
Yeah.
During the construction, I mean, that's the time we would start probably passing out the new tags.
Yeah.
Then you could, I mean, through construction, the openers are probably gonna work to a period of time with a cutoff date. The reality of it is, do we really need to have a box of 1,000 transmitters? Somebody can gold plate them and hang them on the wall as a memoir if they want to, and, I mean, it's for that period of time, they could have not only the electronic pass to get in the new one and still have the open back gates.
Yeah, but
And maybe inconvenience for a couple of weeks of having to come through the front gate.
But I mean, once you convert the gate.
Right.
Yeah,
So
does the
they're
club
not
want them
re-
back, or does the club not care?
I don't know what we do with them, what people are going to do.
Hand them out at the
Door prizes.
prizes for the Dam Jam next year. I don't know. That's just some of the questions I think we need. September final approved and get signed and get it
Get
forward.
dates and then it's scheduled.
guess you can start sending out the questions and then we can start thinking about what do we need to ask signature? Like specific questions, like how long does it take to do a gate? What's the total time frame of the project? Is our computer down front gonna run the system?
I think we keep the computer up here.
Yeah,
But will security be able to access the program?
Yeah, it's cloud-based.
Cloud-based, okay.
We'll need to get security. We'll need an updated computer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might need an updated computer. We have to think about that.
Are we
Be able
gonna
to
need,
access it.
are we gonna need a, internet connection at each gate then?
I think that was part of it, JJ, is
yeah,
that right?
yeah,
Okay.
it's a Wi-Fi sorts.
Wi-Fi
The what?
from the gate?
No, I'm not. Terminology. What happens is there is a signal that is sent from the transponder.
No, I'm not talking about
that.
that. I know how an RFID tag's gonna work, but as far as access control, logging who's going in and out, each gate. How do you, isn't that, because each gate needs to talk to a central location.
Right.
I think there's
So how
internet
does
at each gate though,
how does that
because there's cameras at each.
Well, there's gonna be the cameras and then there could be some type of signal that is, I guess it's all through the cloud too.
Yeah,
Does
but
it come,
you still need an internet connection to get,
yeah, we'll have one here.
no, but from the gate to a central location here, that you have a central controller, right? That is gonna view all gates and talk to them, correct? So somehow we need a communication path from the gate to the central location,
Right.
and do that already?
No,
Do we need to-
that's all part of the package.
But how is
But I
it,
think
do
there's
do we
like,
need to
I
have
think
like,
there is internet like at the Durban. Cameras there is.
Correct.
There's cameras there run off the,
okay,
so
that's
we'll
what
just have to
I'm-
tap that. I know what you're saying, it's got to
Right.
connect to the internet.
I mean, so
somehow.
almost every gate needs to have
Okay,
a
I
connection
see
to
what,
like
yeah,
Spectrum
I
or
see what
something
you're
like
saying.
that.
A
to
spectrum
get-
drop.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or even it'll be
Yes.
hard line and Shannon Forest being as close as it is to the tower here, be an issue, so.
So it's already got a. They all have.
All three of them do.
Yeah, it's,
Karen? The current thought is we trade them straight up for an RFID gate or pass instead of charging you for that. Essentially, that's essentially it. Problem is if we give everybody $50 back, we can check the price of this project goes way up.
I think the refund is actually 25, but yeah, then you're looking at another $25,000 added onto the project for the 1,092 gate openers that we have out there.
Assuming all of them got turned in. That's our current thought. I understand.
I mean, in order for the new system to work and be more secure for all of us, we're not changing anything. Everybody will still have the same access, more reliable and a lot more secure for others out. I know what the rule was written and I know exactly what you're saying because we've all probably heard this already, but like you said, if you got 1,000 of them and $50 a piece returned back to them, that's $50,000 on top of that project, which may put us in a position that it's not gonna be worthwhile to make the expense, and we're gonna same levels we have today, which after hearing memberships talk, they're not happy with this level, so.
Well, we're still, that's one of the things we're hashing out, Karen. I mean, I get it. I got 2 gate openers myself. Same boat. So it's something we have to work out.
Understandable, we know. Still, we gotta come.
All right, any more discussion on the gate project? I do plan on giving an update as far as like the documentation, just tell them we do not have Q&A ready. Documentation, we're working on how to get feedback on this very issue, but. All right, anything else? All right, I asked Jeff to put the capital expenditures list on there. So I can't seem to pull it up. Can't find when you emailed it. So, forgot my laptop. But I know what was on, I mean, some of the things we need to have on for next year, obviously we gotta do some lake stuff based on Rex's proposal. Some studies on there. But there's some more studies on silt traps and expeditions of silt traps. The golf course obviously is gonna have some capital needs next. We have to have that on there. We need to prioritize Eric's list that he prioritize that for next year. Are we gonna do anything with packages next year? It's what, 35 grand for a 50 grand
It was,
for
it was gonna be closer to
50
50.
grand for a package locker. Is that on the capital list?
No. Yeah, that's a lot of money for,
Yeah, I do think in the next few months, we need to get that list tightened up so that something we have not ever had. A little bit with the capital fund, they'll do that. But how do we get put together? We got $400,000 there. How do you best spend some of that?
well,
Like,
that's,
you guys,
and
it's
when,
not my spend.
you know, like the Lakes Committee and the Golf Course Committee did. You know, they come up with ideas on things, but to get some budgetary numbers out there to help prioritize it, right? Just because it's on the list doesn't mean it's gonna happen in that coming year. But we can work together to figure out what 3-5 year plan is, right? You know, look at the costs on it so that we can work in all the areas.
Yeah, ultimately, it's on this committee to get that list prioritized and forward and say, this is what we want to do for 2022. I don't know what it costs to run a line up to the bigger line up to the golf course. I don't know what it costs to build a new tee box or donor green. So, I mean, we got to work through getting them on paper and then start around them.
Well, your depreciation you being in this as long, you realize that it's mainly been based around equipment. And because of ins and outs of cash into the club, these have gotten to, delayed, but now capital line that are permanent big dollar assets being like continued sport here down the road, we'll probably look to do it too, but most bang for the buck for the most people, and that by far is probably the two most populously used amenities.
Yeah, and, to the management committee's credit, when I started this committee, a lot of the capital money got spent dredging North Lake. We've been just trying to rebuild. So, we did some projects along the way, but that one's a big chunk of that. It's rightfully so, time, but got a lot of deferred maintenance on a lot of things. Golf course being one of them. And other things a lot. Some issues.
Your mic is cutting out. Your mic
Can you
is
hear me
cutting
now?
out, Jim. Yeah, that's better, but it's been cutting out off and on all throughout the meeting, so I don't know if it's when you move your head or not, but just so you're aware.
All right, I'll try not to turn my head. Is that better? So anyway, we just need to address these things, put some priority to them, work with the long range planning committee. I know they have some input they'd like to share on where do we spend this money long term. And obviously we're continuing to build that.
Shift of priorities. We'll do you proud. Won't you, JJ?
Oh, sure.
Just want to get that tree on hole 6 removed. That thing hates me.
The one that eats balls.
Yeah, these balls.
Well, maybe that new blower will just kind of
Knock it over.
knock it over.
Yeah.
Plant another tree on hole 6. Got it.
Yeah, I think Ken just talked about that. We'll take one out and plant 10, right?
Yeah, just surround the hole with trees. All right, any other questions on the capital list? All right, Road and Traffic Safety Initiative. Nancy sent out a update today. Doesn't look like you guys are on it. So what they've done, we've got 8 32-inch mirrors on here, I think now, and we've got 3 cases or 36 cans of road paint with glass beads for nighttime visibility delivered to Rick. It's Thursday. They've given a map to Rick to allow him to go around and start marking some of these roads, and some of the roads obviously wait till after chip seal. Nancy and Cookie Mockenstrom have volunteered to help Rick, just kind of basically be called the military road guard, help kind of keep him safe when he's out there marking the roads, especially in these blind corners. Nancy's going to put together an e-blast for Penny to send out this Thursday about where they're going to be putting the roads in the mirror installation starting next Tuesday to help people know where to watch for maintenance being out and about. Said they'll be helping him as well. More mirrors can be ordered once this phase is complete, and if needed, that includes lines as well. I don't really. I can in the e-blast, it'll be all the curves. She's got them pretty detailed out where they'll all the mirror new mirrors will be placed. And she just followed up, said again, this is all possible because of member donations, and we are always accepting additional donations. I'll forward this to the management.
And in the name of safety, both Nancy and Cookie have some very brightly colored vests. I'm looking at Nancy's name up here right now that they chickened out and didn't wear at the last meeting, along with a crossing guard sign that says stop and slow.
And I think the lines have made an impact, and I know there've been 2 new mirrors put out, and I know they discussed it last time, and one of them, it was kind of mysterious. They had a hard time locating it.
That's right on the post at lot 686.
Just want people to spend too much time looking for them here and not pay attention to where they're at on the road.
But I think what we found with that is that the 24-inch, I think that smaller one is on Natchez, that's not going to be big enough. The one at the Organic Garden Drive there is really the size that we need for.
Okay. Any questions on road and traffic safety? Yeah, and it does really make you stop and think, where am I at in the road and should I be?
There's one on Natchez too, though, that when the parks on the road, very, very tight. In fact, you're crossing the other one, but I've noticed that a lot of people are slowing down at that curve.
Good. All right. Security package room.
Really, just I was waiting on a decision by the ACC regarding what their thoughts were on what to do with the roof, but haven't gotten the minutes from them yet from yesterday's meeting. More to come on that next time.
What's their thoughts?
They were brainstorming yesterday. Yeah, I understand.
All right, 2021, 2022 depreciation list.
Right, just really going back to I'm hearing from different vendors that there are delays for the foreseeable future, much beyond what we would like for a lot of heavy equipment and golf course equipment and that kind of thing. So we're gonna kind of take the bull by the horns and start getting pricing and for 2022 approvals. Now there's not a lot on the 2022 depreciation list. But sooner rather than later, we're working on backhoe quotes right now, both John Deere and Caterpillar, at least to have the knowledge and see what kind of timelines they're talking about.
Are we looking at, we've typically bought those off lease. Is that going to be an option this year?
It is one of the, I want to say it's Murphy Equipment, if I'm not mistaken, one of the equipment companies that a vendor referred us to actually does have some 2 and 3 year old stuff. I don't know if it's off a lease or not, but we're still looking at 85 to 95,000, which is probably 125 to 135 new.
And I don't know if we have thumbs on all of them. They're basically so that they can pick trees up.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if those are transferable, but we have to have that. I mean, when we get a massive blowdown in here, those things are invaluable to go down and they can basically grab hold of the tree, throw it out of the way. And maintenance uses it a lot when they're picking up rocks and moving. They might be transferable from the ones we got.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine if we went Caterpillar to Caterpillar, they would be at least, I would think. Sure, we'll find out. I make sure we take it.
Grapple.
What are they called?
We just called them a thumb.
Yeah.
You can get power thumbs or actually have a hydraulic where they can grab it, but this just, it's like a static and then the bucket grabs it and pulls. But we had that sheer winds back in 17. It was invaluable for maintenance to get out there with that thing, and it's basically pick trees up and check them off the road later. One thing I would like you to do is, I know this is your last week for vacation, so we won't talk about the next meeting, but the first meeting in September, if you can meet with Rick, go through that list again, make sure that the next 2 years are aligned for his priorities.
Already in the process.
Gotcha. So that we can start hammering out the next couple.
And we've updated the pricing that we've actually gotten for this year as well, especially at Fairway Mode. So it's a little bit more true.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was some numbers in there that were hopes and dreams. All right, so we'll readdress that basically in a month. Jeff won't be here at the next meeting. Will be beneficial to that next meeting. Questions? Sound systems?
Really, in asking, I don't remember stuff, Marty, I think it was your idea to ask the long-range planning committee to start looking into sound systems for multiple areas so that we don't run into the same type of issues that we've run into. We're operating with a 20-plus-year-old mixer right now. I had my son on FaceTime last week for a better part of 40 minutes, and after he finished giggling about the equipment, we were able to get the settings tweaked. But anytime we move this thing, it's going to be an issue, and you're going to have to end up resetting a bunch of stuff on it.
I don't think it's ever made the list.
No.
Should, but we just haven't replaced it in 20 years. It's not made a list, so.
Yeah, I mean, good news is mixers aren't super expensive, but if you're looking at entire sound systems, if we're going to be upstairs sometimes, downstairs sometimes, that kind of thing, none of that is on the depreciation list. And I need to be considering 2 separate systems if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, typically, I mean, I don't know how we had to manage. We typically had the annual meeting upstairs prior to COVID. Used to work pretty good up there, but we had several different dam meetings up there as well. The sound system worked fine, but I don't know that we carried that thing up there either. It is something we need to have a better handle on. Sound system down here and sound system upstairs. Geese.
And to back up a little bit, that it may be a portable sound system is what's needed, just speakers and a mixer that doesn't have to be hardwired into the house sound. Think of hotels and ballrooms that are either in house sound, which is usually pretty crappy, or you have the portable speakers on stands. They're not cheap, but they last you.
Yeah.
Zero. That's.
Look at me.
I'm looking at the electronic guy.
And,
I don't know much about those. All right, anything else on sound systems?
No.
Geese.
All right, goose droppings at the beach. I've gotten 2 phone calls in the last 2 days about an extensive amount, and went by and saw today an extensive amount of goose droppings on the beach. So they've decided where they're roosting, apparently. I don't know enough about geese to make an educated guess even as to how we best handle that. You know, having members rake it right now, but they're taken probably a good hour, hour and a half away from their beach time.
Yeah, here's what I know from, so we had a great member passed away that was on, we had a depreciation permit, which we still do, and on it, when members of the range committee are on it, it's incredibly difficult to find a safe location to shoot geese in here. Seen them and I'm like, nope, can't do it. It's just so many houses around. It's tough to, you're basically trying to harass them to go across the road. We've tried swans, fake swans. We've tried fake coyotes. You get some level of benefit with those. You got to move them, or they get used to them pretty quickly, and they remember, they know they're fake. Probably the best thing is, you know, our rules state you can't have dogs on the beach, but best thing to get rid of them, just constantly harass them, is let a dog, like a lab or something, run down there and chase them back into the water. Just have to allow, you know, we don't allow dogs on our beach. Make an exception for that. Just you're basically trying to harass them to go back across the road into the swamp, but they like our area better, unfortunately. There is a program through the DNR where you can harass them with bangers, basically like loud firecrackers to try to scare them. They do actually get used to that too. Short of just eliminating a few, it's tough to control them. Every golf course around is trying to control them. We have not been successful in the last year. We do need to reapply for the depredation permit. You need to get a designated shooter that's here a lot during the day, that eliminate a few of these. Paul was great at that. He was really the master of getting out early. Guys on it now, I think we're all still working, so it's a little more difficult.
And I mean, any kind of short-term fix other than
Short-term fix, we
saying
can
get out
try
there with an
to,
umbrella and open and close it really fast to scare
short-term
them?
fix, see if members are willing to take their dog down there when they see him and just run them out. We could get some swan decoys, put them out in the water. Just like Ken said, you gotta move them around a lot. Any other ideas? This is what we've done in the past. You get marginal success.
Swans are always fun to watch, so the new people that come here and actually think they're real. I think there's a higher impact on some members. They never did with geese.
I think part of the reason the
Present-
swans
you know, I was
stay,
included in that
There's
too.
actually
My wife took
swans,
several pictures of look at the beautiful swans, but you know,
there is swans in the swamp. I think is somewhat keeps the geese out of there.
yeah, I think it helps with the one across.
Swans come over and chase the geese back. Short term, I don't know an answer. We could talk with Jim Hiles. He knows a little bit more about wildlife issues. Good call the DNR, game warden, just Officer Chris Dodge is really good. I mean, they say, you know, you got any ideas? Getting bombarded here with geese. Can't, you know, given our neighborhood, it's hard to shoot them with our depredation permit, but he might give you some ideas for harassment. So
At one time, we have a plan, or I don't think it was very popular with people that decided they wanted to help her. We actually, during the molding time where they can't fly, you can actually corral them up and work with her to.
we've never done that.
I was gonna say, I remembered it was brought up once.
Like, are they relocated? Is that what you're talking about, or?
Don't recall that part, so I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't either. We had a goose harassment where we'd have a couple weeks where they would actively try to shoot them or harass them out of here. Not done that.
I've read that if you can keep them away while they're during breeding season, then they'll stay wherever the little ones are. But
I mean, I know there was some down in the dam, and I was leaving. I called Jim Hiles, who's on the depredation permit, to go, and he ran down there because he had a safe shot. And time he got down there, there was kids sledding. He's like, "Well, So it's just really tough. You see them and you're like, no, houses. It's not easy. Shoot
Yeah.
them.
Is it firearms only or archery allowed?
No, you can use a crossbow. Any sort of firearm or crossbow. Problem is, a crossbow bolt's like $20. Come to shoot a geese with a $1 bolt.
Well, current rate shotgun shells just a little behind that.
Yeah, especially for a steel shot, which you're supposed to use. So, yeah, that's not much better. I think we just need to get a little more aggressive. Maybe we can work with the committee. That's where we got some of the shooters before, to see if there's more people that can be more active about harassing them this fall. See if we can kind of get this problem under control.
Have your kids bring pots and pans to the beach.
Problem is, I think they're there at night. That's where they're resting.
Okay,
They're
well, let the
sitting up
kids
at
stay
night.
up late, one night a week.
Take Otis down there at night.
Well, we can actually,
I'm happy to do it.
I can ask,
Let him run them.
yeah, that would work, or I can ask security to go by and see if they can run around.
Do we still have the 38 revolvers?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
That's a joke. Okay. It wouldn't hurt just go down there and see if they can chase them off. Anything you do, just harass them away from it. It's beneficial. Fireworks, so you can't throw firecrackers at them, but I don't know any ideas. But the game warden may be able to give us some ideas that people
I'll try reaching out to him
we just
and Jim
mentioned
Hiles
to him,
both.
hey, we do have a depredation permit. We need to. Jim Hiles might have some ideas. Some retired guys that go down and maybe put them on next year and see if they can shoot a few to get the rest to leave.
Yeah.
So, the thoughts. All right, Jeff, general updates.
All right, first is my vacation. I will be out of the country starting next Monday, or this coming Monday, through I guess I fly back on the 29th and then back to work on the August.
'16th through the 30th.
Correct.
So our next meeting, we're flying solo. Any other updates, staffing wise, like in the office or?
Yeah, so fall cleanup, we're looking at June 6th through the 13th. I want to get everybody's thoughts on that. We
June.
did the 7th, I'm sorry, October.
October 6th.
I did, and it
October
says
6th.
October right here too. October 6th through the 13th, it was the 7th through the 14th last year, Wednesday to Wednesday.
I'm good with that. Steve, you good with those dates?
Got her down.
Do we need an official vote on that or just,
Yeah, we're all good.
okay. Security's still down one part-time employee. We do have a full-timer hired and a part-timer hired. We've given up on the seasonal position at this point, so I'm not counting that anymore. So instead of 2 full-timers, we'll have 1 full-timer and 2 part-timers. Gotten the position posted as part-time on just a couple days ago. And then maintenance, we are rehiring. One of our seasonal employees had left to move to, I think it was Cincinnati. She decided that was not a good move, and she's back until the end of season. So we're down really only 1 seasonal employee in the department. Technically this week and next week, we've got all 3 of those spots filled, but then 1 guy is actually leaving for other opportunities, so she'll replace him.
Gotcha. When do we keep those seasonal help on through?
Normally September, but since we've not had one we've been down at minimum of 1 all year long, except for this week and next week. Rick's gonna keep at least 1 of them around a little bit longer, or at least until growing season completely stops. The weather this year has been strange, I'm told, so exactly when that'll be.
That's wise. As long as the weather's good, I'd keep.
plenty of weed eating. All right, any other general updates?
That's it.
Questions on Jeff's general update? Good luck getting back from Central America.
Thanks.
Yeah, we need you back.
Let's not talk about the new hitter among caves here.
Inning 9, we're talking about the no hitter.
There'll be no problem getting home.
Yes,
There you go.
I think. you're
Think
fine.
positive, Steve.
Think positive. Lodge updates.
So we learned today, it took us a month to get someone out here to look at our sandwich prep unit in the pizza kitchen, if you will. They came out late last week and learned today that, at least as far as they are concerned and the manufacturer is concerned, it cannot be repaired. Their quote is, "No estimate can be provided to repair the unit. The system is no longer supported by the manufacturer, and any replacement parts cannot be confirmed to work correctly in this unit. At this time, the unit will need to be replaced." That said, this guy's saying that it actually has lasted twice as long as he's seen in any other sandwich unit.
Unit is it?
It's the sandwich, the prep unit,
Is it the
the
cooler
one
for
with the
the
doors
veggies
that
and
fold
stuff?
up like this, yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah. For the
The cooler.
pepperoni, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, so
What are we looking
we've,
at?
we've got, the ice machine upstairs is down. We think that's the compressor as well. Rick's gotten a hold of somebody else to come out to look at that rather than waiting another month for commercial parts and service. So we're gonna have this guy look at the sandwich unit also before we worry about ordering anything. We're looking, and this was not budgeted on depreciation for this year at least, at about $2,500 for the same size, got in there now. That's just looking today, about half an hour before the meeting, so we'll get bids from Wasserstrom and everybody else and see what
It's a
what
sad,
happens.
it's a sad place we're in. Everybody's tired and worn.
I thought we bought one of those a couple years ago. Any idea when we bought
I
that?
think that's the one that's down in the clubhouse. It is about 10 years old. He said they're usually good for 5 years. You got to get a new one.
Thought we bought one not too long ago.
Yeah, I think that's the one that's down in the clubhouse.
Gotcha.
It's a smaller unit.
All right, so when you get back, we'll get bids, and if they can't fix it, we'll have to replace it.
Yeah.
What about the ice machine?
Can
Ice
can
machine,
we
we're waiting to
work?
see.
Do we have a workaround for it?
We do. Yeah, we're just putting everything on a cart and rolling it into the walk-in and then putting ice in there in the
Okay.
basin, if you will.
That's my only concern.
Yeah, we're keeping it cold. We're keeping it safe. In fact, when the health department was here, we explained it to them.
Okay, what about, how's our server staff?
Server staff, we will be down to 1+1, I'm gonna say full-time, just meaning that all the days the lodge are open, and one that'll only work weekends, plus Jeannie as of the 15th. God, it's
So we
going
have
back to
two?
school.
Servers?
One on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 2 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Another Friday, I'll.
Okay.
I can tell you, for what the Friday nights have looked like, Mark, you can attest to this, 2 servers is gonna
No,
be
it's no
difficult.
way.
Either we're gonna have to go to some type of simplified ordering system, or I mean, you're cutting
Or
menus
buffet.
back, yeah, or a buffet type. Just have somebody stand there and serve them. 2 is just not even Jeannie. I mean, Jeannie's running like a crazy person trying to keep her orders going, plus take orders.
I'll do Friday. I got you.
I was the best host ever, Steve.
Well, I'm sure you were. I probably got big shoes to fill. But, my fans have been, really making a lot of requests, so, I've got to make sure my fan base stays happy too.
Just
You- after
just
the-
make sure when you seat a table, a server knows they have a table.
I thought they had assigned zones.
Well, maybe we should have them hold their hand up until somebody comes.
I was trying to tell them, hey, I put somebody out there, but yeah, it was helter skelter, but we got it covered.
Jeff, a question
Keep in
for
mind,
you.
Friday is the member guest, so we have some make it, I don't know what it's gonna
Yeah.
look
Either way, that's.
like.
Within the POS system, and I know we coming out of the industry like this, I know I've frequented several, usually bigger cities, but where there's a table ordering yourself directly into the POS system through, zap the code on the sticker on the table, and then it opens up the menu, reports, what table. I take the system we have now.
It will.
I'm looking there and even down the road, because then you need to have drink servers maybe helping on that stuff. And then back come out here. It's just as we looked up great.
Yeah, and well, we did upgrade the system, the CPU at the clubhouse, and then all the hardware up here, with the exception of the printers. So it will accommodate like iPads and that kind of thing. I mean, to where you could even put one at every table. And is it Chili's that does that? I think you can plug in
Applebee's has it where
You can
can-
plug in your order right at the table, but it
Just
is pricey.
Well,
We're gonna have to.
so's not having enough wait staff and hungry
Oh,
people.
okay, good point. Good point. We're saving a bunch on payroll.
Jeannie had a good idea of just maybe handing people a dense menu and they mark what they want. Server grabs it up and takes it, and they're basically just putting the orders into the POS system.
So the thought behind the condensed menu, is that just because of the shortage of the wait staff?
Well, no, we lost a line cook. Lisa's mom had passed recently, and she's just not doing well at all with it. So she said rather than continue to work, she's going to just take some personal foreseeable future.
We've come this far, we'll make it.
And I think one of the challenges with the checkbox menu system is that they don't always hit all the boxes, and so stuff can come out wrong. We're talking about, maybe even just putting on a table for people to come and get, but our chef's got a big problem with that. He starts getting complaints about the food. So
Yeah,
I think,
somebody has to run food
I think
out.
if you're gonna do like a cafeteria style where we're serving them buffet, pick 3 proteins, a starch and a veg to get out there and just alternate it every day if we need to go to something like that. Hopeful that we don't. We've got some kids in the wings that have applied, and that has applied to help Paul. So if all of that works out, then we should be okay, at least until the end of the super busy season.
Friday nights that's where we're getting slammed. I mean, Friday night looked like we were gonna kind of hold our own. Just came out of the woodwork, which is great. I appreciate people supporting.
And they
just-
kept coming. It was wonderful.
It was wonderful to see the tables full. It's just, it does overwhelm our staff, but we did the best we could, and happy.
Can I wear some shorts or something? I'd like to increase, the volume.
No,
You don't think?
No.
Wow.
Come on, let's keep this thing.
You know what TB&T means? Thanks, but no thanks.
Okay.
Do we know if there's lager in the tank,
Oh.
just not in the kegs?
That is accurate.
Okay,
It is in the tank, but we can't.
Yes.
all right,
You know how to keg it?
I'm gonna learn.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You the man.
I'm gonna learn.
Okay. Are we having no luck contacting her brewer?
Correct. I should say that too is accurate.
Yeah.
We
I think it's time
we
for your
went through
son to
those kegs
visit Ohio
fast,
for a
but-
week.
Well,
Isn't
this
it
is beer
abusing?
season.
We'll take good care of him. You get him up here.
He's been abused before.
We'll get him a bus ticket.
I learned with my son, you can do a lot through FaceTime.
Yeah,
As
that's
long
what
as you
I'm,
can follow
that's what I'm gonna
directions.
try to do.
Do we have to get the kegs clean?
Yes, I don't know what's down there now. I'll take a look this week and see what we have, just clean or not clean. Still trying to get in contact with Double Edge and help us out and get things done.
Okay.
I mean, they can teach me how to do that too.
I assume they have a machine they hook them
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
It might be just hauling them into Lincoln.
Yeah.
They come back up and they're done. But we just need to make sure our stuff's all labeled right.
And then we, in addition to selling a good bit of wine over the weekend, even by the bottle, the decoy is extremely popular. We'll start doing wine flights. I got the wine flight racks in, so wine flights after I get back, probably the first or second week of September. So I've got to do menu pairings with them. So, and that is just it'll be, since we do a 9-ounce pour for the wine, it'll be 3 3-ounce pours of different reds or different whites. You can order a white flight or a red flight, paired with, or suggested pairings with different menu items, and that'll just be something that's available any night.
Questions on the lodge? Audience.
Yeah, we'll start looking at the charcuterie boards late September or early October once we figure out all the business model and staffing stuff.
What do you do on weekends? Come on down. I mean, you know what charcuterie was. I think that's a plus.
Drink some mighty nice wine. That's what he does.
All right, any other questions on the lodge? Clubhouse updates?
There are no updates. They're right along.
Clubhouse are wrong.
And is it October that we usually go back to reduced hours there? October 15th?
Typically November-ish,
Okay.
when it starts getting cold, people don't sit outside.
Okay.
The October is, we get football games on Saturday, and it does stay pretty busy in October. November, it's getting pretty inside, and we pare it down to winter.
Okay.
All right, anything else anybody wants to bring up? Questions? Comments? Anything in executive tonight? Talk about?
Still fix our biggest
Believe it
issue.
or not, no.
It's kind of where it's at.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting.
All right.
Night, everyone.
Good night.